This is going to be a big week. Big week for the Dolphins. They've been slowly getting back in the mix, 3 straight wins. The rest of their schedule after this game, quite favorable. Toughest game they have left after this is the sinking like a stone Texans, which I would say the Dolphins would be favored against.
Mhm.
And so this might be the biggest game of their season, not just because of that, but also because it brings up a lot of the old stuff. Let's listen to Tua Tagovailoa talking about the narratives that have surrounded the Dolphins the last couple of years.
You mentioned the significance of the coming game, but what do you think about maybe playing in some cold in Green Bay?
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited to kill narratives, so let's go. Bring it on.
Hell yeah.
I love that out of him. And the narratives would be that the offense slows down at the end of the season. When we're at Thanksgiving, it's officially the end of the season, and that they struggle in cold weather, 0-4 under 40 degrees.
It'll be 29 degrees and cloudy at Lambeau Field, so really like not that bad.
What about snow? Is there any snow in the forecast?
Cloudy?
It's bad enough.
61% precipitation
Oh.
chance. I really
So,
went, I really
kinda
went
high
into it. Yeah, so it's going to be cold. It's going to be great football weather. I think this is actually the second best game of the entire slate this week behind Philly Baltimore over the weekend. Like, I think this game is going to be so fun. There's all these little subplots in it as well. You know, Mike McDaniel and Matt LaFleur once worked together. They were sort of missed each other at a couple of different stops, but they were also on several of the same coaching staffs. They've shared assistant coaches. One thing that is super interesting to me is that, if I can find where I wrote it down.
This is where the
There's
color
kind of
coding would
I know,
work.
I didn't highlight anything today. Joe Barry is the former Green Bay Packers defensive coordinator who was kind of much maligned by the fan base, and his defense was just played in that deep shell a little bit too often for their liking, was
Boring.
kind of got the reputation of being soft. And now he's the defensive run game coordinator and the linebackers coach in Miami. Well, Josh Jacobs, who's on a real hot streak, is going to be running the ball against that Dolphins front. Like, there's some really interesting coaching matchups in this as well. And also, this is a Dolphins team that, despite the cold, they're really getting hot at the right time, guys.
Here we go.
Oh, yeah. Love that.
And it kind of they can be so phenomenal, but still erratic under pressure offense. And I love this. I think this is going to be a really fun game.
That's the matchup to watch. And honestly, that is where my spicy take is as well.
Ooh.
Let's hear about it. We all have spicy takes. This game is so good, we decided to do that.
Exactly. I think Josh Jacobs will be the second player all time to run for 200 yards on Thanksgiving.
Oh, I like that.
Uh-huh.
Colleen went big
Ooh.
because if you get
You
even
said
one of these,
spice.
if you get even one of these two right, everyone's gonna remember it. People hit her up on Blue Sky. People are
Exactly.
gonna be going absolutely nuts.
Yeah, this is the running backs chapter. So Josh Jacobs is going to do it for all of the other running backs that will come before him just days after Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley, running backs on new teams. They rushed for 255, 140. I mean, this is the year of the running back.
I like it. I also have a spicy Josh Jacobs take. I think he's going to go for 2 touchdowns. I didn't do a yardage. I think he's going to get 2 touchdowns in this game. But I'm picking the Dolphins. I love the energy that's coming out of the Dolphins building right now. Yes, that cold is a little bit of a difference maker. But again, that's not the negative 11 degrees or whatever it was that we've seen them struggle in before.
Kansas City. Also, they played great in that Buffalo game in the
that
storm
one,
on
and it was
offense.
snow.
And
I
they
was there for
They
it.
played really well. They just lost to a team that was a little better.
And I can't emphasize enough how much of a difference I know I've honked about this a lot on this show about how specifically this offense is predicated to the timing and the way that Tua Tagovailoa can run the different pre-snap and at-snap movements and the footwork in his drops and coordinating them with the route pairing, all of these types of things that are so aligned with what he specifically does best. And this is courtesy of Aaron Schatz, our friend on Blue Sky. Miami Dolphins pass offense DVOA in weeks 1 through 7 was 30th. In weeks 8 through 12 has been 9th, and it would be higher weeks 8 through 12 if not for opponent adjustments as well through that DVOA process. And so this is a completely night and day team again when Tua is back in the lineup, and they're feeling it a little bit, guys.
They've been awesome. I've watched every snap. I mean, I try to do that with every team, but Miami especially, I've been trying to watch live and going back, and it's really interesting because I think Tua's playing the best football of his life, and yet he's actually playing now like everyone used to accuse him of playing,
Right.
but he never was. And by that, I mean, it really is a dink and dunk offense right now. They're playing 2 tight ends. The third receiver is Odell Beckham, who hasn't really gotten it going, had a bad drop last week, only had 17 snaps. And they play Jonnu Smith and Julian Hill, and Jonnu Smith is really their third receiver. And the numbers don't lie. His air yards per completion is less than half of what it was just 2 years ago. They are much more of a yak team. They're much more of a Chiefs-like third down team where you're really just trusting the quarterback to make all these decisions. And they're also a ball handling team. I do worry about that in the cold a little bit because Tua is magical in terms of his play fakes, and now he's doing the no-look stuff like each and every – they're just flexing on people. And I really think it makes a big difference. Am I crazy that Donovan McNabb was awesome at that? I'm trying to think, like, who are the best, like, ball fake players ever? Peyton Manning is certainly up there. But Tua is right there at the very top. Like, they're taking it to the next level of, like, you just don't know where the freaking ball is, and he's so confident in what he's doing. That makes a big difference. And it's really made up for the fact that they don't run the ball that much anymore or that well. So that does concern you in situations where you want to salt away a big lead. You want to be diverse. I don't think that this is going to be that kind of game. I think both offenses have real mismatches, and there's going to be a lot of points.
I think this Dolphins offense right now is probably the best version of itself to, if they are going to win this game against the Packers, they have their best shot with this offense as it is right now.
No Jair Alexander, most likely. I'm just guessing.
Yeah, PCL, that's going to be a little bit gnarly coming back from over the next couple of weeks.
That's a big loss, and their pass rush hasn't been that great on paper. They're really reliant on getting turnovers, and they might get turnovers, but that's just very hard to predict. So when I think about Tua, if you don't get some heat on him, and Teron Armstead, their left tackle, is having a really great season quietly. He's been healthy and might be an all-pro. Man, if you don't get pressure on him, I love the offenses on both these teams because I agreed with everything you guys were saying about Jacobs. I think he has a monster day.
Yeah, and you do have to run the ball a lot if you're Green Bay, I think, because if they can get Chop Robinson going the way he has been over the last couple of weeks, if you're Miami, Calais Campbell has been playing out of his mind. Your guy Sealer has been playing good partner for those guys. If you can get pressure on Jordan Love, he does tend to be erratic. He's the third lowest completion percentage when under pressure in the NFL right now, according to Next Gen Stats. And so you're going to have to run the ball. You're going to want to run the ball. It's Joe Barry on the other side. You are going to want to run the football.
Fair.
And Josh Jacobs is getting hot at the right time.
I think, too, another player to watch in this matchup on the other offense, tight end Jonnu Smith, who I think he has a great opportunity to go off against the Packers. 3 touchdowns in his last 2 games. And Green Bay's defense is allowing the 13th most yards to opposing tight ends. So even when it's evident that the Dolphins are running things through Jonnu Smith, it still works because the defenses are accounting for Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle.
The stats are crazy. I went through them earlier in the week just in terms of receiving yards. So we don't need to go advanced stats. Let's just go basic ass stats.
Flex.
Tyreek Hill has 571 yards this year. Really disappointing as fantasy owners. Jalen Waddle now after that big game has 548. Jonnu Smith has 535. So it's like the three big guys. And Tyreek Hill actually had a tweet this week, which was hilarious. Where it's the meme of the guy whistling at the new girl, and the guy is whistling at Jonnu Smith and Devon Achane, and Tyreek and Waddle are like, what the hell, man? Although he did go to Waddle last week, and Tyreek, he is one of the better Twitter follows out there, and he agreed my exact thoughts there.
He also loves Tua. So before anyone reads into that, like, of course he wants the ball. He's going to get the ball. But like, he absolutely adores.
Oh, he had a million other tweets too about people so worried about stats. Like, we're winning, bro, and we need to keep getting these wins. He wouldn't do that unless he was just having a little bit of fun. Let's listen to one more cold take by Mike McDaniel.
I was just gonna carry ice cubes in my pockets and throw them at players all week. It's nothing revolutionary. I'm not gonna I'm not going to throw it out there for the world and act like we've checked the box of we've got this answered. It's a football game. How do I feel about narratives? I'm very comfortable with narratives because I think they're very predictable and retroactive.
Ooh,
I love that guy.
I like him.
He's the best. And like earlier, it was after they just won this last game. He was already asked about the upcoming cold weather game
Right.
in Lambeau, and he just deadpanned. He's like, "Oh, you're not going to let me enjoy this, are you?" Like
His annoyance is like
I
what
just love
love.
his rising level, like you
Yes.
said, of his annoyance level over it. But win the game, win
Yeah,
a cold
you
weather
got
game.
you got to win this game. I was expecting, like, I knew this game was coming, and I was like, oh, I can't wait till that week. I'm gonna pick the Dolphins. And now as we got closer, and I looked, and the Dolphins, there is something in my soul that doesn't quite believe in this Dolphins defense on the ground, and I feel bad. We had Anthony Weaver, their coordinator, on the show last
He was
week,
great.
and now I like him, so I'm rooting for him. But just when I think about what's the best thing about either of these teams, as great as Tua has been, as great as Tyreek Hill has been, I think the best, most unique thing in this game is the Packers running game and all the crazy
the
stuff
way they do it, the
Right,
way
that
they
they
scheme it is freaking beautiful.
that they throw at you.
Oh my god!
And I look, and the Dolphins are 30th against the run in terms of DVOA, and I think that's like a lot to make up for. I think we're gonna have a lot of points. It'll be a lot of fun, and my spicy side take is actually pro Dolphins. So again, points. After that Tyreek tweet, I say it's a squeaky wheel situation. They all know, okay, we had to get Waddle his time last week. Now it's Tyreek. He goes 150 yards, let's say,
Woo.
and a touchdown.
I wonder how much their
125,
playoff
something like that.
probability goes up if they win this game, because right now it's at 16%, but their remaining schedule is pretty good. I mean, aside from the Niners, which I don't know what we're feeling about the Niners right now, because they're not the Niners that we know and love of the past, but they have the Jets, the Texans, they have the Jets twice actually, the Browns. So if they get this, then they have a nice shot.
Yeah, we'll save that for Sunday's show. I mean, for the preview show, rather, previewing Sunday. But I don't know about this Brock Purdy thing is very on my radar.
Yeah.
And if it's a Brandon Allen situation, that's definitely a good game. Fun game. I'm taking the Packers to win, but the Dolphins to cover the 3.5 points. That's my pick. You don't have to make a pick, but you could break the tie here, Colleen, if you wanted to be.
I got to send my
Spicy.
picks in anyway after the show. So, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to go Spice. No, I'm not. I got burned last night. I'm going to take the Packers.
Okay. Always good to just react to the previous
Yeah.
game when you're making picks. Always. that's the
I
smart way to do it.
do think nope, that's not correct. I was trying to find your answer to your
probability?
question. Yeah, right now they have according to the Athletics model, they have a 33% chance of making the playoffs, and their win probability going into this game against the Packers is just 46%.
Yeah.
So keep an eye on.
It's a nice
Close
little
one. Yeah.
coin flip game. Looking forward to it.